Well, hi there. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Dawn and I were just talking about our coffee and tea, and we're loving it. Today she says she doesn't have cream, so she had to have tea. But
Yeah,
I love the flavor of the lemongrass.
I do too. So yeah, I didn't have the cream I wanted for my coffee. I love mushroom coffee and I didn't have it. So I substituted with lemongrass and lemon balm tea, half and half. And it's good. It's much softer actually. I find it they're two
Mm.
completely different energies. It's like I feel like coffee's more and tea's more warm hug.
It, I hear you. I feel the same way. There is some resonance in that. That's for sure. And that caffeine definitely gets me going in the morning. Because I do sleep a long time. When I do sleep for hours. I mean, we were talking about in our last session, we were talking about how we're taking care of ourselves and physically, mentally, spiritually, and mainly physically. And I know that we were talking about sleep. How's your sleep doing? Is it getting better?
It's kind of up and down. I did have a good night's sleep last night, but that was
Mm-hmm.
primarily because my wrist was hurting so bad. I actually had to give in
Mm,
and take half of one of my pain pills for my wrist, which I hate
okay.
doing. But I
Mm.
woke up like 6 hours later and I felt amazing. My pain level was down because it's just still bothering me. But
Well, sometimes you need to take those pain pills, and that's the
yeah,
thing about this whole journey that Don and I are going to take you through is being aware of what we choose to do or what we what direction we if we're in pain, there are different things that we can do, and there's certain things we can take, and there's certain exercises.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
with that, we're both gonna we're talking out loud about many different things, and it's really related to health and healing, and it's based in, gosh, we're looking at 12 step, and we're also, but we probably want to do a little introduction before we go into this, right? I'm kind of jumping a little bit. You want to go into a little introduction first?
Sure. So, welcome to A Place to Transform. This is Melissa's group, Place to Transform. I'm Dawn from Empowerment Evolution, and we're kind of just coming together and to share a little bit of our lived experience. And if it helps people, if they can gather any wisdom or any knowledge from it that helps them in their healing journey, that's the whole purpose here. We just share a little bit of the techniques and the tools we use.
Mhm.
And that's it. And this is Melissa.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're going to share a little bit from different sources. I know Don and I have talked about the importance of resources and what has worked for us over time. And I know for me, I'll just a little bit about me is I work with people to help transform false beliefs. A lot of people get stuck. They don't realize they're in false beliefs and they're having reactivity and responding from that wounded place. So I know what helped me was really 12-step programs, and I did Al-Anon for about 8 years. Al-Anon is for family and friends of alcoholics. Also did CODA, which is Codependence Anonymous, and we're going to be doing a reading out of that book today. Also, ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, which was a program that works with going back and working through your childhood trauma. So there's benefits in all of this, and we were working primarily today and for a little bit of time. Fourth step inventory, which I call the foundation of the step work. And this is really looking at self inquiry. It's being open and honest with ourselves about what's going on according to the questions, and we write and then we share. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yes, that's wonderful. I also want to put a little disclaimer out there that Melissa and I are not therapists, so we are not doctors. We are just regular beings who have walked through the journey of trauma in one way or another, and we are just sharing our lived experience. I am an empowerment coach and a peer support specialist, so I do help women take back their power, overcome self-sabotaging behaviors, and find their purpose. And Melissa also helps people with false beliefs.
Mm,
You want
sounds
to finish
good.
up a little more with that?
Okay, yeah. So basically, we're really just looking at, gosh, just focusing on how we respond and react to our thoughts. And a lot of times we don't question those thoughts. And so I really do help with words. And we were talking last time about how there's certain words that are spiky and certain words that are calming. And so looking at words and looking at sentences and looking at belief structures. And we're going to start right now with a little grounding. What I like to do before I start with anything or any group or working with people is I like to ground. And when I ground, I also want to make sure I have water or something to drink. Even if I get a little hungry, I do have a little bit of nut mix in case I get hungry and I put it on pause or eat a few little nuts. So with that being said, I don't know, let's take some deep breaths. Let's get our feet grounded on the floor. I know I like to be barefoot outside, but right now it's kind of cold. So I'm grounding on the carpet. And really what I want us to focus on is our breath, our heart, our breathing. And with that, I will love to see if we can do a deep breath in. I like to put my hands on my chest to feel my heart. You could breathe in 5 to 7 counts. Hold your breath. Breathe out 5 to 7 counts. And do the same. I feel my heartbeat. I hear my heartbeat. And I want you to focus on your heartbeat and your breathing. If thoughts come into your mind, see them as clouds in the sky. Let them blow by. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. 5 to 7 counts. And let's do that for a couple more minutes. If thoughts come to your mind, just put them on the clouds and let them blow by. Paying attention to your heartbeat and your breathing. Getting into a natural rhythm of breathing. Letting go of any stress, of any thoughts of stress. Let us slowly and gradually move into the direction of coming back to the room that we're in. If we floated away for a little bit, let ourselves come slowly back into the room and open our eyes when we're ready. Maybe shake your arms and hands and wiggle your toes and move your neck around.
That was nice.
I think so. I think even when I do it and I say it out loud, it helps me transform anything that might be stressful, letting go of any thoughts that I was thinking, or maybe the conversation I had with someone on the phone this morning that might have not gone very well. And this is the thing about this practice, is it gets us in our now. And this is the only time we have is now. We might bring the past, and we often do, right? How did that go for you?
That was nice. I
Thank you.
was just trying to do the black screen because that's where I get the most peace.
Mm.
It's just where I'm kind of floating in that black screen. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, my mind kind of took me to this field that was very bright, full of sun. And I
Ooh.
was just sitting there in the grass. But then something that's kind of bothering me tried to float itself through. And I just
Mm-hmm.
said, that's okay. I said, you're definitely welcome here, but I'm gonna set you over here for a minute. So I like wrapped it in a little bubble and set it on the shelf. And then I just went, then I focused and went right back to the little area I was in. So that was nice.
But see, and this is what's wonderful about when we do share is we come from different places and we're helping people say, hey, there's no one way to do any of this, but it's a tool and a practice that I like to use. Doesn't take very long, and it gets me to a place of peace.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts about our next ideas about what we want to do? We talked about doing another reading, and then we were going to pause for us to journal. Are you still interested in doing that, or
Yeah.
okay?
Uh,
Okay, we were gonna.
gonna do the same format.
Okay, we're doing the trying something a little different today. We're gonna pause. We're not going to be on camera, but during our journal time, what I'll do is I'll do a reading out of this little reader. And what I love about these daily readers is you can put the date down in your journal, and then you can write according to what's coming up for you. There's no one way to journal, but it's a tool that what did you want to say about journaling and the significance of
I was just gonna
journaling?
say, so Melissa's going to go ahead and do a reading now. What are you reading out of today, Melissa?
I'm going to be reading out of this Coda, Codependence Anonymous. It's
Okay.
a in this moment daily meditation book.
Okay, and so Melissa's going to be reading out an entry out of there, and then if you anybody wants to journal along, it's a great time to grab a piece of paper and pen, anything you have near you, and just listen. And what the purpose of journaling is going to be for is to process our thoughts and allow
Mm,
all of the thoughts to come through. There is no right or wrong thoughts. We don't focus on why is that thought here. We just let it flow. So after you're done reading, if you want to join us and take a pen and paper, it's a really good time to process and see what comes up.
exactly. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so today I'm gonna date my journal, but it's gonna be this like this day before Halloween. How about that? October 30th. In this moment, I embrace change. That's a good topic. Change is often uncomfortable and scary. Some days I'd rather stay in bed and hide under the covers than deal with the changes I know I need to make. Often change can be good, just unfamiliar. It helps me to remember that if I make a change and don't like it, I can try something else. Sometimes when I run from change, life situations occur that require change, whether I'm ready or not. When I embrace change and move into the new flow, my life improves in ways that I couldn't have imagined. I trust that through my higher power, which is a source of power, the changes I face will bring lessons that encourage me to grow and experience life more fully. Mm. So what we'll do now is we'll pause our video and we'll write for 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll share. Is
Sounds good.
that?
We'll be right back.
Okay.
You're on mute.
Well, this is an interesting topic. This is one of my favorite words, actually.
Yes. Change.
Mm-hmm. Did you
Mm.
how did that journal entry go for you?
Well, I shared first last time, didn't I? I think it's your turn to
Okay.
share first.
My turn. It's interesting always to reread this because, when I journal, I just kind of, like I shared before, I go to these deeper places way back when, often, which makes sense. A lot of our trauma started when we were younger. So be nice to ourselves when we do share. And it's always up to you if you want to share or not. And anybody out there journaling, keep it in a safe spot.
Yes, absolutely.
So change has been on my radar since um, well, since oh, okay. Change has been on my radar since imagining how different my life was going to be once leaving home. Then things changed and my mom met my ex-stepdad, and we moved into his house 15 miles south from my safe little town. Then my mom said one day when I got home from my junior year in high school that I needed to get into the car, and we were moving 58 miles south to live with my two older siblings. Long story short, uh, changes occurred often. And I realized that life was full of changes all of the time. There's a realize. Can't read my writing. How funny. Maybe I put the glasses on, that might help. There's realized. I realized it was up to me to how to deal with changes. And I also said I could deal with them lovingly or destructively. It's always been a choice.
I like that.
Hard to read my writing.
No, I like that. How you say change is always going to happen, but it's up to us how we're going to deal with it, constructively or destructively. Um, that's that's true. So I like that a lot. So how long, when you moved, how long did you stay there?
Ah, when I moved to my stepdad's house, we were
Hmm.
there from, let's see, so sixth grade summer to junior summer.
Mm, all of the best years.
And then I started a new high school in this new city.
Lots of
Um,
change.
yeah, lots of change. So, and change definitely is inevitable, and it makes you grow. It made me
Absolutely.
grow.
I was a military brat, so meaning that both of my parents were in the military, so we moved all the time. And I always was so jealous of people who grew up in one house
Mm,
and finished all of their school and had all the same friends. And I was always so jealous of that until I got older. And then it's like I got to experience some of the things that some people never make it off their front porch. And
mhm.
I've been out of the country. I've been to probably 25 of the 50 something states. I mean, I've seen a lot and then now
Yeah.
I see it as a blessing, but then I didn't.
And often that's the case with change.
Hmm.
So how did you go? And I wrote about a half a page.
So yeah, I took just a regular piece of paper out of my printer and then I wrote the front and the inside.
I love
And so I
that.
put, when listening to the reading today about change, when they mentioned staying in bed under the covers, it made me laugh a little inside because that's what I do when I need to feel safe.
Mm,
Change is hard for me and can be disruptive in so many ways, but that doesn't automatically mean it has to be a bad thing. I once heard that change creates chaos and chaos creates change. And this really stuck with me. As I go through my life journey, I have come to accept that I am not in control of many things. I feel like we are given many opportunities to change when we begin to see how things are becoming out of alignment for us in our lives. And if we hold on to fear of change more than fluidity of change, it's like hanging on to the edge of a cliff as the whole terrain has collapsed underneath my feet instead of just going with the flow. And that's where I aim to be.
that is beautiful. You could post that somewhere.
I think I will.
Hmm.
That's usually what I do. I usually make a post or two a day and
Yeah, I think that's
thank you.
wonderful. And again, so you see where we both went with change, and very important topic, change, and we'll probably explore change a little bit more some other time. It's always one of my favorite topics. So what are your thoughts about next steps with what we want to do? We had kind of talked about maybe going through our fourth step
Yeah, we
inventory.
finished off on the last one.
Okay.
Let's
Do
pick back up where we were.
Okay, and so I don't know if you had a chance to get this whoever's watching, but it's Blueprint for Progress, Al-Anon's fourth step inventory. I personally care for this one in many different ways because it's a little bit thinner than the other ones and the other programs. And I really like it because it's taking responsibility for yourself. Yes. And then you can order it from thrift books.
Yeah, I got mine at thriftbooks.com. It didn't have any writing in it. But they have all different ones. Sometimes you get them for super inexpensive, but it'll have some writing in it. But I mean, even if it did, I would just ignore that and read the questions. So, but this has really been, I'm not particularly an AA person, I guess you would say. I did some of AA
Hmm.
for many years in my life, in and out, in and out, in and out. And
Hmm.
for me, I didn't really find what I needed to to I don't know, just kind of really take my healing journey seriously. But that doesn't mean it wasn't AA. It could just be
Hmm.
that wasn't the time in my life and I wasn't ready. And um AA
Exactly.
and Al-Anon and all of the anonymous meetings, Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Overeatings Anonymous, they have helped so many people. So what Melissa suggested is that we go through the fourth step, which is like that self-inventory. And I was like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. And I'm really enjoying this.
Awesome. So it's looking at foundation work within
Yeah.
ourselves, and it's it's allowing, again, this is a safe time, so close your door, turn your ringers off if you can, and this is our time together to really explore where we go. And there's questions in here and the different themes, and I know we talked about self-discovery is something that comes out, and courage, because when you're looking at this, it's looking at a fearless inventory. In inventory, like in the stores, we do inventories. When I don't know if you worked at stores, and we do the inventory. You go down your list. How many do you have on the shelf? This is kind of like this, but it's our own personal inventory. So I don't know where you want to do. You wanted to talk about the Serenity Prayer a little bit, or what we talked about that.
Well, where did we leave off?
Well, we had talked about
Self-worth, right?
self-worth, and we were looking at the reflections, and I love what you read about, because at the beginning of each area it doesn't have a reflection. It has a little overview of what it is according to this program, and then it has a reflections, and then it goes into the questions.
Which questions did we leave off at?
I think we finished the second one, so we're on to the next page. So page
Okay.
15, the top, I believe.
All right.
A little bit about the reflections. Basically, it's saying here in the reflections. Often, this person writing, I was concerned with what other people thought of me. If any kind of disapproval or rejection made me uncomfortable. If others liked me, then I felt good about myself. If they disliked me or criticized me, I felt compelled to change and please them. So you want to look at how you are toward, these thoughts are really important, because if you're so focused on everybody else, you're not in your own recovery,
Right.
is what I learned.
So let me finish reading the rest of that. It says, you kind of read the first part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reflections in the self-worth section of the Blueprint for Progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll finish where she left off. It says, my opinion of myself depended entirely on others. And that's what you're saying, how when we're focused on them, we're not really focusing on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I realized that instead of putting the opinions of others first, I must work on improving my own feelings of self-worth. As long as I feel like a truly worthwhile person, I can be less concerned about what others think. And I really like that. That is really the core belief of self-worth, if you ask me, is
Mm.
I don't know, for lack of a better word, not caring what other people think of me, and not in a snotty way, just in a I have more important things to focus on.
That's good. And it's
So in
you're
our last video, we answered the first two questions. Let's go on to the next couple here.
okay. So under the treating ourselves well category, when was the last time I went to the doctor and dentist for my own checkup? Well, I did go to the dentist, and I got my cleaning about a month ago. So I did that. I went to the doctor for my wrist, and believe it or not, and you know me and doctors, I finally went to an occupational therapist, and she helped me with some exercises for my wrist.
How is your wrist been doing? Is it getting better?
It's getting better, and it's funny, I haven't been doing any exercises.
Oh, well, it's like they say at the end of AA, it works if
If
you
you
work
work
it
it and you're
a-
worth it.
and you're worth it. So it's
This
the
is
same thing, Melissa.
I take your own medicine.
Um, so for me, when was the last time I went to the doctor and dentist for my own checkup? I have been severely lacking on the dentist, and there's no reason. I have dental insurance. I just and I could use maybe a cleaning and stuff like that. I just haven't gone. And I think even the last time, because we went through this already, but I think the last
Mm.
time I was like, I plan on making an appointment. And I just haven't done it.
Okay. What about the dental floss?
I am.
The
Oh, I
flossing.
have been dental flossing though. I have been. I'm still struggling with getting it in 3 times a week, but I am up to twice a week pretty much.
Awesome.
But the doctors I go to pretty regularly because I'm healing from my back injury that happened with surgery, and then I just had carpal tunnel surgery. I have shoulder surgeries down the line, so I'm kind of always going to the doctors. And I see a therapist once a week. So I'm kind of in contact all the time with somebody in the medical field.
Okay, then whoever's listening can see that, there's no one way or a right way of doing this. The idea here really, I know that the dental hygiene is very important when it comes to all of your health. So with that being said, if you can get the cleaning in, anybody watching, at least, I mean, they recommend every 6 months. I try to go every 4 to 5. It's up to you how you want to take care of yourself. How about that?
Yeah, it is. It's just a form of self-care. And I noticed that
Hmm.
when, for those that don't know, I was homeless for a while and on the streets and really caught up in addiction for quite a few years of my life. And I never once would go to the doctor because I didn't need to. I was self-medicating with
Mm.
substances. And when you're not in your right mind, you're not present in your body as often. So I didn't really realize that, hey, I have some things I need to take care of. My car needs maintenance. I've been letting it drive around on flat tires for a while and crappy gas, and my fuel filter needs to be clean. So when I got clean and came out of addiction and started getting my life together, it was like my beat up old car was sitting here going, hello.
It's kind of a metaphor for life too.
It really is. So it is self-care. It's just a form of self-love,
Hmm.
saying I am worth it. So
I love that, and I am worth it too. We
yes.
are all worth having a clean bill of health, if you want to say it that way. But really, we are all worth.
Having quality medical care, having healthy bodies, having even if you're going through something right now, like I still have stuff I'm going through, but that doesn't mean that
Mhm.
my mental state, as long as I'm taking care of my mental state and trying to focus on getting the best care I can get, it makes getting through these difficult times easier. You're not so into the
It's
doctors. It's hard to get you into the doctor. But
really hard to get me into the doctors, but
maybe that's because you don't need it as much. You're taking care of yourself in other ways. I know you meditate a lot and
mhm,
you practice mindfulness and you're going
mhm.
for walks and you eat so clean. So that's probably why I've got years of body rebuilding on my part that
Oh,
needs to get done.
and with that being said, it's very important, everybody who's watching, to listen to the differences, and not in a comparative kind of way, in a negative way, but just an awareness way. We've all been through trauma.
Yep,
Every one of us has gone through trauma, even if we've been brought up in a certain environment. We have all experienced some kind of trauma. Give ourselves a break. With that being said, we don't need to stay there and suffer. And that's
right.
part of the reason why we're really doing this together and sharing it with you.
I had I had a friend once and I said something about trauma and they go, "Oh gosh, that's just so trendy. Everybody thinks they have trauma. It's trauma this, trauma that." And I was like, "Well,
Uh,
actually, so I asked him, I said, "What is trauma to you?" And he's like, "Oh, if you go to the war or you get in a car accident or you lose a limb." And I'm like, "Absolutely,
mm,
those are traumas." I said, "However, trauma is not the actual thing that happened to you. It is how you process that or the inability to emotionally feel safe when you are dealing with what happened to you. That is what they are finding causes trauma. And
okay, wait, so
trauma is
pause.
stored in the body.
Pause. Can you say that again? Because that was so important.
Trauma is stored in the body.
Okay.
So you can do all the
And
therapy you want, and that's great because it'll help bring you awareness and coping
right.
skills and help you start to heal. But if your trauma is in the cells of your body or the fascia of your body, and you're not doing some of the things that Melissa and I will share in this journey with you, it's going to be harder to get past a certain level of your healing journey with
It's
your
interesting
trauma.
that you say that because there have been people who eat well, sleep well, don't have a lot of stress, and yet they're sick.
Yep.
There's
They've
research that shows
somatized their
that.
trauma.
That's
Yep.
correct. That's correct. With that being said, I think it's important to drink our tea and our water because whenever we're talking about this I know for me, I get dehydrated, I get thirsty, and that makes sense because we are talking about some things that might be bringing some uncomfortable feelings and
Yes.
emotions up. So be
Yes.
kind to ourselves.
And talking about that change, since that was kind of the topic for today, I want to bring up that because your body is actually a sentient, conscious creation. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll use an example of somebody I knew that was moving soon, and they were like, I was like, how are you doing? Are you experiencing any stress or anything? And this person was like, no, I'm super excited. I can't wait. And I said, that's great. I'm really happy to hear that. You sound really positive. I said, I do want you to be aware sometimes, though, the brain that can't really differentiate between excitement and oh my gosh, disruption. The body still just knows something's happening. There's a change going on. So even though our mind might be excited, our body might still be maybe tensing up, or our heart
Mm-hmm.
beating faster, or so many other things. So it's just that's why it's so important to do these meditations and these
So important.
mindfulness so you can pay attention to your body.
Mm, that is perfectly said. That is a good reminder for all of us.
All right,
And
should we go in?
yeah, listen, what do you thought? What do you think? Oh, here's the seatbelt question.
Yes. What are my reasons for wearing or not wearing a seatbelt in a car? Speaking of cars. All right, Melissa,
Hmm.
what's your reasons?
Mine's similar to yours, probably. Um, it hurts, and this is funny because I did research on who invented the seatbelt, and it happened to
Men.
be a lot of men. So they're not aware of this situation up in this area on women
Mhm.
and how it would pinch and it is super uncomfortable, and also it would go up my neck. So I luckily I have a car seat that I can push the button and it can move up.
Oh, that's nice.
So
So
then
it kind
my
of gives you
belt,
a little bit
yeah,
more, yeah.
it's more, yeah, more centered.
So I can't stand to wear seatbelts. I do, but I can't stand it because for me, I'm currently, my weight's been all over the place, but currently I'm a
Mm.
fuller size person. And so for me, with the larger area, it cuts. I don't know what happens, but it'll come up here. I always put it on right here. And within 2 seconds, it's up here cutting into me. And I'm like, oh man, if I did get in a car accident right now, it would completely either decapitate me or crush my trachea. And so I always kind of have to push it down and put my arm through it, and it's still going across the bottom part. Of course, anytime a police officer's near me, I'm like putting it back on real quick. But I do think our seatbelts in cars need some female designing.
Okay, putting it out loud. Female
Yes.
engineers out there.
Yes.
And yeah, the I just never liked the seatbelt. So this is a good thing because the research shows that it's keeping more people alive, which is wonderful. But then they have the airbags. We'll talk about that another time with the airbag situation
Yes.
with me, and that's another time. But gosh, do you have any other thoughts about that question? That's kind of
No, I just think how it ties into self-worth
uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
and change. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, for me, wearing a seatbelt causes a lot of disruption in my body, even though my mind tells me, Dawn, you need to be safe. So,
Mm,
because I know I'm worth having a happy and healthy life, I will force myself to wear it, even though I'm uncomfortable. But as you heard, I make adjustments and kind of push it down a little bit. Because honestly, I do know. I mean, I'm a bigger girl right now, but I'm tiny. I have a tiny neck and I have tiny wrists. So if it would hurt me. So yeah, I know I'm
important.
worth being taken care of, so I do wear my seatbelt now, and I never used to, ever.
Excuse me, I had a little fuzz and little froggy throat. But this is just important. And you get to choose. And we get ticketed if we don't wear one. So if we do. Well, let's go to the next question. What do I usually do when someone pays me a compliment? Mm.
Hmm, that one. What do you do, Melissa?
Well, it's interesting because I had a scenario with someone just yesterday about when I said something to that person about how why don't you do that because you're so good at it, and apparently that person about 20 minutes later turned to me and said that was triggering for me.
That was too what?
That was triggering for me
Oh, when you said that.
because in my childhood, that was the way my parents got me to do things that I didn't want to do. They all said that I was good at that. That's the reason why we wanted
Mm.
you to do that.
Well, that was beautiful awareness on that person and to be able to voice that something in that situation triggered them. And that's really good to be aware of that. Triggers are our friends. I know they don't feel like friends, but they are our friends
Mm-mm.
because they help us grow. So,
And I know I mean, we've talked about this before, I'm sure with this, when we do receive compliments and when we do give compliments, you want to make sure when you do give, I know for me, I want to make sure it's authentically 100% true
absolutely.
for the
Absolutely.
way I feel towards that person. And it's not, I don't mean to trigger or anything like that, but I do appreciate the feedback. If so, I do compliment someone and they say that's triggering, and then I'll just be mindful of my words next time.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure, I don't know. How did you feel when that person said that to you? Was there a little part of little Melissa inside that felt hurt that I'm just trying to be nice or,
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's what we're going to go to too. Is when this kind of stuff happens, when we do get triggered, when somebody says that triggered me, then I had the opportunity to sit for a second before I responded,
I love that. That's because you
and
do so mindfulness.
it's so important because I done it my old way, I would have been reactive. I would have been say, "Well, I was just trying to be kind." Mm-mm.
Absolutely. So we
So,
actually, oh, let me answer that real
oh
quick.
yeah, yeah. How are you
Um,
with compliments, giving and receiving?
so now I just say thank you and I enjoy how their compliment made me feel, but I can tell you, that just recently started happening in the last few years after I started doing my inner work because for most of my life, if somebody paid me a compliment, tongue tied today, if somebody paid me a compliment, it made me feel uneasy. It made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
And I would instantly have to try to compliment them back. But in my mind, I was like, what did they mean by that? So if you said, I like your shirt
Mm.
today, I'd be like, oh, thank you. I love your shirt too.
Which it is. I
But
love your shirt today.
oh, pretty bright and fun,
It's
huh?
beautiful.
Thank you. I love colors. Um, I would instantly have in the past been like, what is she saying? Does she mean I'm fat in this? Does she mean it looks bad on me? What is she? Because I couldn't authentically trust people around me, that they were being
Hmm.
authentic. And that just comes from a lot of things that happened to me in my childhood growing up. And that formed those beliefs in me that nobody was truly being nice to me, or why would they? I wasn't worthy of that.
Oh
Um,
my gosh,
and
it's
so
so
now,
right on.
yeah, now I'm just like, thank you. And I know that's
Oh,
key on my self-worth, that my self-worth has really grown a lot.
that's excellent. I used to go to a place of what do they want from me?
That right there. I still get that when somebody will open a door for me. I'm like, oh God, they want something from me. And so I'm still working on that trauma, but that's a whole different conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll probably explore that in another question somewhere down the line. Shall we go to the how
Well,
comfortable?
I
And
think we
that's our
should do
last
one
one.
more question so we
And
don't, because we're getting a little bit short on time if you're
yes.
okay with that. But
Hmm.
we jumped over the question before. What do I do when somebody pays me a compliment was, what am I doing to exercise my mind so that I can learn new things?
Oh, yeah, we probably want to stop on that one. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a
So
good one. What am I doing to exercise my mind? Well, for me, it's keeping a flexible, open mind. It's staying curious and really looking at what works and what doesn't. I signed up for this class, that grant writing class, and I just it didn't fit, so I just didn't
wasn't
go.
feeling it.
No, I wasn't feeling it. It wasn't the format. It was
That happens sometimes.
online, and professor wasn't available until the end of class. I don't know. There's just so many things. So pay attention to what works and what doesn't. And it's not like you're trying to run away from commitment, but when you're learning new things, but if it's not the right environment,
It has to feel
situation,
right. You
has
have
to
to be
feel
able to
right.
receive the message or the lessons or whatever it is you're trying to expand your mind with. If I'm an over talker, which I am, but you happen to be the person that can't receive information from somebody talking, it's never going to work. So
See, so
good
that's
for you
that's
for honoring yourself that it just didn't work.
yay.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's kind of where letting go, but going deeper, being aware, being open. I love learning, being curious.
I am the same. Oh, I like that. I love it when we use that word, being curious. It's so big.
Mm,
Instead of forming complete decisions and it just being black and white, we're always
mhm,
open and curious. It leaves room for growth and expansion and healing. And I love that.
mm,
Yeah, so I'm like you. I love reading and learning. I tend to have a diagnosis of attention and deficit hyperactivity disorder, which I'm sure you can kind of see in my mannerisms. But so I can be reading 12 books at once, and sometimes I go through, they all get done, and sometimes they sit in the corner for who knows how long until my mind
mhm,
just goes, okay, oh yeah, there's a book over there you wanted to read. So I do a lot of reading though. I try to draw, keep my mind active like that. But where I've found, just this is just me and my body, the most, I guess, success at exercising my mind is in the opposite of doing. It is in
oh,
the
explain
complete
more.
being still. And
Ah,
that's where my mind gets exercised the most. Or maybe it's
mm,
just the rest allows it to go back and do what it's supposed to do, as opposed to, my little ADHD monkey brain running all over the place. But that's for me, one of the best things in the world is just peace, still, and mindfulness. And
mm,
that's where I feel like so much transformation really takes place in me.
that's
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you. I love that. Oh,
I know
well,
my last question, or when I answered it before, when we did it before, it was like, I'm going to
yes,
school soon, and I'm like,
yeah.
that all got changed because I go with the flow, and sometimes changes happen in life.
There it is. Change is inevitable.
Yep,
Struggle is an option.
that's right.
So we have one more question. We'll do it next time. We'll start that, and then we'll go into safety first as the next category. How's that
Okay.
sound? And what are your thoughts about what kind of
I thought there
card?
was a lot more questions. What do you mean there's only one more
No, I
question?
mean there's only one more question under that category. So this is the treating ourselves well questions, and we have one more
Oh, and then
question.
we go, okay, do you want to just finish that one real quick then so we can
I
start
mean,
at safety first next?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go for it. How comfortable am I in my relationship with my higher power? Now that's a big one for me because higher power to me means more than God, it's source. And a lot of people watching are, you all have your background and
Hmm.
religions and all that. And the higher power is something that goes throughout the 12-step program. So for me, it's a universal source, universal harmony. This is what I shared last time about that. And I tap into Akasha field, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but I go into deep, deep places, and then I get things that come to me from Source, and Source talks to me. Now, I don't know if this makes sense, but Source and I have a relationship. And Source is everything. It's the leaves, it's the wind, it's the chime on the tree, it's the squirrel.
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful.
so I have a really strong relationship with Source, higher power.
I love that. That's beautiful. So, I am very also connected to my higher power. And I use different words and names all the time. Sometimes I'm talking to Jesus, sometimes I'm talking to my higher self, sometimes I'm talking to the creator that created everything. And sometimes
Mhm.
I'm talking to my angels. I don't pray to them, but I talk to them. And some people do pray to them. That works for them too. I didn't want to make that
Mhm.
sound like there was something wrong with that. I don't know.
Mhm.
Actually, I'll have to examine why I said that. But
Mhm.
for me, it's just about being, like you said, in connection with the leaves and the trees and everything. And I didn't used to be like that. I know that until I had my spiritual awakening, it wasn't. I was strict,
Mm,
dogmatic, legalistic, Christian Jesus. This is you're going to hear you're if you don't do this. And I'm not saying that's wrong if that's what people's beliefs are, because I just know for me that once I
mhm.
kind of had that spiritual awakening, it's like a whole new door open, and it's like, yes, this plus more. And that's what happened to me. It was like
Wow.
now it was this, but now it's that and everything. Um, yeah. And so
Wow.
I always feel in tune.
Wow. Do you feel like it was certain doors were opening along the way, or was it like one day all of a sudden this door opened and everything
Ah, gosh.
transformed into, did you feel
I'll
like it
try to
was a
make it as quick as
process?
possible because that's a whole video in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going through a spiritual awakening. I started having a lot of extra, I don't know what you want to call them, extraordinary
Mm-hmm.
spiritual experiences happening. I could
Mm-hmm.
see things other people couldn't see. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people call it spiritual psychosis, and that's again a whole nother conversation. But I was
Mm-hmm.
going through things where I was just seeing so many different dimensions. I call it going into the underworld because I really went
Mm.
down dark, was seeing a lot of heavy, heavy, heavy energy dense things. But as I started to pull out, well, so I would
Okay.
have to pray to Jesus. I was praying to Jesus the whole time through all of that because I was terrified. Jesus, Jesus,
Oh.
this. And I started singing praises all the time. And that's what
Mm.
started to pull me out was singing songs and praise of worship. It started to kind of pull me out. And then it
Uh-huh.
took about 6 months for me to kind of, I guess, come back to this place where I wasn't seeing things, and start to
Mm.
stabilize. And then it took another 2, 3 years to really finally get back to this point where I'm at now, and I'm much more stable. Um, so, again, not to
Okay.
force my beliefs or my experience on other people. But for me, that's what, when I went through that, it was like, there's so much more than this one
Mm.
little story I was following. Everything is included. It's not just this. Everything and everyone and every creation and every out, it's all
It's
God. It's
all
all
God,
created. It's
all,
all, yes.
yeah, and that's beautiful. And I know that we can certainly do a video on that because of my near-death experience and what I experienced, and certainly
Yes.
share the connection that was beautiful
Yes, we'll just have to do a
for
video
me.
on that alone because
Yeah.
what happened for you though? How did it open your eyes up?
Oh, just gosh, stepping out of my body and stepping out of this kind of monkey mind, right? This kind of storyline that we all are a part of. We're all creating these stories and living from these stories, and when you're out of your body and out of your mind and you're just with spirit and source and guides, you're not experiencing any pain anymore. I mean, I didn't experience any pain, so it broadened
Exactly.
my kind of connection to what I already felt. I don't know if that
I
makes
think once
sense.
I saw I didn't just see it. It was in me. It was everything, that there's so much more,
Oh, yes.
and that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this short experience we call life is literally a blink of an eye
It is a blink.
compared to the expansion of everything else. It was
Mm.
just like, I don't
And
know,
I and
just woke up.
I'm sure we're gonna get some comments
Yeah.
on this one, especially towards the end here. I know I didn't want to transition too much from, because this is pretty spectacular ending here, and we're getting
Mm.
close to the time of being
Yes, yes,
done for
yes.
today. I wasn't sure if anything else came up for you, if you want to share about, or what kind of cards you want to pick. I have some cards. You have
Did you
some
want to pull a card
cards.
today?
I was thinking it'd be nice to pick a card, and I like your Oracle card, and I also have the Language of Letting Go card.
Which one is that? Hold it up a little closer to the
Oh, this
camera.
is
The
Melody
language.
of Letting Go.
Okay, so is that an oracle card or is it
It's not an Oracle card. It's just a Today I Will card.
all right, well, why don't you randomly pull one of those for us, and then I'll
Okay.
shuffle over here an oracle card,
Okay, and
and we will,
then we'll do both.
yeah.
Okay, so the card for today, the universe source is wanting us maintaining boundaries.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, today I will. gain a new awareness of those areas where I need healthier boundaries. I will release my naive assumption that the other person is always right. I will exchange that view for trusting and listening to myself and setting and maintaining healthy boundaries.
Mm. So important. Probably one of the very first lessons I had to learn. There's so many that we have to learn, and they're not necessarily linear either. But for me, learning how to, the difference between expecting other people to follow what I said because I thought I was setting a boundary and learning that I'm the one that does the action when there's a boundary being set. Um, so important.
Mhm.
Have you always been good at boundaries?
No, but I learned that no is a complete answer. It's a
No is a complete sentence. That
it's a
is
complete
right.
sentence. So if somebody says, "Get in the
Yes.
car with me," and I drank 8 drinks, and at the bar, and I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna get in the car with you." It's just an example. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have to be related to alcohol consumption, but it's really just if there's somebody that's being angry, like driving with someone who's really angry, that's scary.
Mm.
So I won't get in the car with someone who's angry.
I think that is wise advice for anybody. Don't get in the car with
Mm-hmm.
anybody under any kind of influence, and emotions can be a strong influence.
Mm.
Um, yeah, for
So good
me, I
talk.
had to learn boundaries big time.
So there's another topic for another video.
Yes. All right. So the card that came out today, because I am using the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed.
I love that.
And if you are not into Oracle cards or anything, then this might be a good place to go ahead and say goodbye and end the video. And we thank you and hope to see you again. Wish you a well week. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it. The one that came out as I was shuffling was All That Glitters.
Mm.
And it's really funny because I made a post just yesterday or the day before that was like, I hope everything you touch turns to gold. And look at this,
Mm.
all that
That's
glitters. And it's like,
gorgeous. Look
got
at
all the
all that gold.
gold
Ooh,
and
and look
bright
at that
shine.
sky.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So let's read this. I'm going to read the card meeting and then I'll read the prosperity message that comes with it.
Okay.
And if you are still with us, if you just want to take a nice deep breath in and close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, so that you can just really receive this message. And the parts of it that stand out to you are the messages that the universe or divine source creator is trying to speak to you right now. So all that glitters, a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise excuse me, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, and being mercurial. Mercurial. I have to look that up. So that's what the essential meanings of this card are. Now, let me give the message. It's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title, a position, or the stamp of authority, maybe it's sparkling of diamonds. These icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or the person? That's a good message.
Mm.
Let me go ahead and read the prosperity part.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold, and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American gold rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune, and then deserted entire towns after the mining depleted and depleted the gold veins in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstances. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek. So don't compare yourself to them. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle, but be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. Love
That
that.
teary-eyed me. Mm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
love that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, what a powerful reading.
And
Mm.
on the card, it's like this mound of gold, shiny, sparkly stuff. And then on
Mm-hmm.
top of it, there's two masks. It's like we're wearing the mask, we're dressing
Mm.
ourselves, adorning ourselves up in that
Mm-hmm.
shining glitter. But sometimes all that glitters is gold and sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it's fool's gold.
Yeah.
And the reminder to me with that reading is, pay attention to what you pay attention to and what matters is what came to me. Pay attention to what really matters. And
Hmm.
um, I know early on when I was quite a bit younger, I was chasing certain things, and it didn't really last. It didn't turn into lasting happiness for me. It felt
Hmm.
like I just kept on needing more of it. And
Hmm.
I don't
I
know.
agree. I used to think when I was in high school, I had to have the name brand shoes and the name brand jeans and everything because to fit in and that was where I put my self-worth.
Right.
And even though I didn't have that through most of when my stepdad was in the life, I didn't get that stuff. But when he left, I started getting some of that stuff, and that made me have this false sense of security and haughtiness, and
Mm-hmm.
I was better than everybody else. And boy, did life come in
Mm-hmm.
and teach me some lessons. And now I'm like, yeah, it's just a ring or it's just a pair of jeans. It doesn't matter. I'm fine getting them from Goodwill or wherever. And
I love Goodwill.
I had to be humbled.
I think it's important for everybody watching to pay attention to, any part of the video that you watch today from Don and I, go with it. Look at resources. There's different options to look into. We covered a lot of different topics, and, just be kind to yourself. This is the thing, is this whole process is learning how to be kind to ourselves,
Hmm.
right? And
Yes.
what
Giving
brings us
ourselves
joy?
grace.
Giving ourselves grace, knowing where we were isn't necessarily where you are now.
Yeah.
So,
Some people have to kind of reparent themselves and go back and speak to themselves the way they needed to be talked to as a child or give themselves that safety that they didn't necessarily get. It's probably different for everybody, but
hmm
finding that safety in here really makes all the difference.
I hear.
Yes.
Well, with that being said, this is our bye for now. This is we'll see you next week. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Any last final things?
No, I thought that was a good session. I really enjoyed the journaling. I enjoyed the card and the visiting. I do. These help me grow. They really help me stay grounded, heal, and continue to grow. So, so important.
Me too. Thank you for doing this with me.